it just takes everyone else's proceeds to help with the research.
Let's talk about today for a moment, this race where your colleagues are calling the Denny Hamlin Invitational because you've been so good here over the years. They say the reason you are good at this racetrack is you are the master of braking, on and off the brakes, and the timing of the brake pedal. What are they talking about?
Well, it's just there's a certain speed that you can run through the center of the corner, and that's all that the car will take. So it's how you get there, whether it's braking aggressive at the beginning and then letting off, or continuing to trail brake all the way to that point. It's just a technique that a driver kind of hones, and usually the one that can get through the middle of the corner the best here usually carries the most speed off and gets the payoff down these long straightaways.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Denny Hamlin starts third today, and Allen, if he were to win this one, he's won 2 in a row, he would join a very elite group.
He sure would, Doc. The 2 gentlemen who have won 3 straight here. Look at those names.
Woo. Bobby Alice, Tim Richmond.
How about that?
Man.
And by the way, a win here for Denny today would be his 5th overall at Pocono, which would top Tim Richmond in the all-time charts here. So big things awaiting Denny Hamlin if he can roll into victory lane today. Denny got his first and second career wins at this track in his first full season in the Sprint Cup Series. Is there something about his style of driving that made him adapt to this tricky track so well?
He's got an amazing attitude coming into this race. He knows when he gets here he can win the race. He grew up on a short, flat racetrack. This is a flat racetrack, basically. And that is really in a driver's head that, hey, I grew up in a flat, I understand a flat, but above all, there's a lot of tricks that drivers use to get around this track, and Denny will probably tell you, I know what they are. I've got to get my car to do a certain thing to maneuver around the track if I'm going to win. And you work until you get it, and when you got it, generally it's better than the most.
Well, I talked to Denny, and he told me his secret.
Oh, he did?
Yep, I'm not telling you. No, this is what he told me. He said, Brad, he says, you know, so many guys come here, just like we do, every race team, and they unload, and they're trying to figure out how to be good off of 1 or maybe 2, or either 1 corner, number 3, how do I get off 3? He said, that's not it. You've got to be good everywhere. You can't settle for just trying to get off turn 3 and get down the straightaway. You got to be perfect everywhere. And that's what me and Mike Ford do when we unload that Toyota Camry. FedEx, we're going to come out and we're going to dominate every corner of this racetrack.
No compromise. Get it all.
Get it all.
There you go. Not like a fork and a spoon. You want the individuals. You don't want the spork, right? Jimmy Johnson up next on NASCAR Countdown. Riding high in June, not so much in July. Can the 48 start the 8th month of the year in style? And Kevin Harvick, why is he always right there when the checkers wave?
You had to get it.
Spinning down to the inside of the racetrack. He is up and in the air. Oh, now Logano goes around. Harvick gets into him. Logano trying to save it. Punch that mother right in the nose.
Oh, look at Logano. Pulls right up to Harvick. He should be mad.
I just got into him going into 3. It's probably not his fault. You know, his wife was a Fire City family.
Denny Hamlin will post his 4th win at Pocono.
Sorry about that.
The Tricky Triangle provided a good dose of drama June 6th in the first of this year's 2 Sprint Cup races here. Very likely we're in for more of the same after 500 miles today at the Pocono Raceway in Pennsylvania. Let's talk Jimmy Johnson now. Check out Jimmy's results for June versus July. 2 wins and nothing worse than a 6th in June for Double J, but July is a calendar page he'll likely wrinkle up and throw away. The Indy 22nd, his best result of the month. Bet Jimmy's glad it's August now, Jamie.
And Indianapolis was certainly a place some people would like to forget, including Jimmy Johnson, who of course finished 22nd. Jimmy, so looking back there in the last 3 weeks, you guys have finished 22nd or worse. Not something that you're used to with this 48 team. What have the last few weeks been like for you and Chad?
Well, I mean, what's been tough for us to swallow is the fact that we've qualified well, have had great practice sessions, and then in the race, things just aren't what we thought they would have been. You know, at Chicago, we did really well at the start of the race, and then things kind of fell apart. At Indy, we knew we were in trouble from the beginning. So we're trying to find some consistency in that stuff, although we are, you know, working through some new things on our cars. But when you have such a great Saturday, it's tough to swallow it on Sunday when you go out there and you flop around and don't have a good day. So with all that said, we're working on new stuff again, and we feel that we see the light at the end of the tunnel. When we look back on things, we feel like we understand kind of what went wrong. So with all that, we're very optimistic. We qualified very well. Yesterday's practice sessions went really good, and we, you know, fingers crossed, hoping we do everything right today and have a great run.
When you walk around the garage here, it's like every team, they are lacking speed or the balance isn't good. Where were you guys?
I think at the end of the day, you get to that threshold regardless. But where your opinion really comes into play is when you look at Lap Tracker and you see if your comfortable speed is on the good side of things or the bad side. Right now, the garage area is so close. In order to find a 1/10 of a second or 2/10 of a second, you've got to live on the wrong side and the uncomfortable side of that line. And that's what, you know, why we get paid the big bucks and why these drivers and teams are professionals like they are. So we'll do our job today with the slows from Paula. I think that the conditions today being overcast will help the edgy cars and the guys that took a risk on a loose driving race car. And we're in that category, so it should be good.
All right, well, it's been 6 years since Jimmy Johnson's been to victory lane here in Pocono, but he seems very optimistic.
Well, Jeff Gordon, let's address the important stuff first. So what's the status of Ingrid and the baby watch?
Well, I haven't heard anything yet, so hi to Ingrid and Ella at home, and no baby today, not today. So, you know, I mean, really the due date's still, you know, a week or two away, so, but we know anything can happen. We're just trying to be prepared. That's why I have Eric on standby, and we'll have Scott Pruitt on standby next week. But right now it's, you know, go along as usual, and our DuPont Chevrolet's pretty good.
Well, let's focus on what could happen today. You have been very good at this track over the years with 4 wins. What's it going to take for you to take that Chevy to victory lane today?
Well, you know, I mean, we haven't been exactly spectacular on these types of tracks this year, but you know, we've been really good this year overall as a team, and I felt like the last time we were here, we ran good, and then we had some issues, you know, and got behind. So we're trying to address those. We qualified well. That's step one, and felt like we were pretty decent yesterday. So, you know, with these conditions, overcast like this, cool conditions. Really not sure what's going to take place here, and just going to get going, try to get in a good position, and just keep giving good information to Steve and the team, and you know, hope that we can pull off a really good finish here.
Well, maybe a win and no baby. It could be a really good day for Jeff Gordon. Good luck to you, bud.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Doc, thanks. Jeff Gordon starting 4th today. As difficult as Indianapolis was for Hendrick Motorsports, it was great for Richard Childress Racing. Check it out. All 3 of the Childress entries finished in the top 6 at the Brickyard, led by Kevin Harvick, who came home 2nd. The current championship leader starts 14th in this one, Mike.
And the championship leader, Kevin Harvick, comes into this race with quite a bit of momentum. 4 top 5s in your last 5 races. It certainly seems like you're peaking at the right time. How would you assess the performance of your team right now?
Well, it's been pretty good. Obviously, we put ourselves in position to win a couple races, and we won Daytona and came up a little bit short last week at the Brickyard. But they're doing a great job, and we just have to keep our momentum going, and hopefully keep it around for the last 10 weeks and have a little bit more in the chase. So we'll see what happens. We'll just keep racing hard.
You look at what you did here in June, a 4th place finish. Obviously, I would expect that your expectations are pretty high, but what are your expectations today?
Our cars run really good in practice. You know, the biggest concern we have is the weather being so much different than what we're practicing, and which way that the car is gonna go as far as handling. So hopefully we're close, and we can make some adjustments and see where we're at on that first pit stop and go from there.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Kevin Harvick rolling off 14th today.
All right, Michael, thank you. Quick look at the championship picture with 6 races until the field of championship contenders is set. Harvick with a pretty sizable 184-point lead over 2nd place Jeff Gordon. Down at the cutoff line, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, and Clint Boyer are the last 3 in. And the first 3 out are Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Ryan Newman. That gap between 12th and 13th grew a bit after the Indianapolis race. Let's start with the Hendrick team. Rick Hendrick talked a while back about them being caught by the others. Have they been caught, or are they laying in the weeds, trying stuff, just getting ready for the chase?
I do really think they've been caught. I mean, they have been caught for sure. I mean, you talk about Richard Childress, the power they've got, the handling of the Gibbs, the horsepower of the Penske's. I mean, look about McMurray, Chip Ganassi Racing. Look, they're right up Rick's tailpipe. They've definitely been caught.
All right, let's talk about Kevin Harvick. Yeah. Every week, seems like we don't see him until the checkered flag is in sight, then he's right there. Specific strategy or just circumstances?
Well, I think it is part of their strategy, but the big reason, I spent all day Tuesday with Kevin, hung out with him, we were talking about this. His confidence is unbelievable right now. After last year, what they